You have big dreams of losing weight and creating a healthy, joyful life. But you find yourself craving sugar, caught up in what the scale says, and diet hopping. Dieting is the old way of losing weight. And the good news is I'm going to give you a new way of eating so you can ditch diets for good and build a healthy relationship with real food. My name is Megan Olson, certified nutrition practitioner, creator of Skinny Fitalicious, and your host of the Dish on Diets show. Hello, friends. Today I have another special guest on the podcast for you, my client, Tonya. Tonya started working with me in March of 2023, and we recorded this episode a few months after she graduated from the coaching program. And Tonya has so much helpful information to talk to you guys about today, specifically around mindset and treating yourself like your own best friend and what she learned about her mindset and how it just helped her navigate her eating and learning about her eating. Also, she gives you a really good perspective about Weight Watchers, because she did Weight Watchers for a period of time, but she felt like it really wasn't that personalized. And so she kind of gives you a really good perspective, like what's the difference between a program like that versus a program like mine, where you're really getting individualized support. I think a lot of times when people join, a program with a nutritionist like myself, they think that it's going to be very similar to Weight Watchers, where you're going to be starting to lose weight from day one. And Tonya kind of clears that up. Anyways, don't want to give it all away. So here's Tonya. Hi, Tonya. Welcome to the podcast. It's so good to have you here today.
Hi, Megan. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me on.
Sure thing. Why don't you tell everyone who's listening a little bit about yourself, whatever you feel comfortable with sharing?
Sure. Hi, my name is Tonya. I'm a 51-year-old mom of two. Now they're two young men, a 17-year-old and a 22-year-old. I am a wound nurse specialist for a home care agency. I've been doing that for a while. I am from Buffalo, New York. Go Bills. And I am here to talk to you about my journey with Megan.
Good. So why don't you give everybody a little bit background on your weight loss journey and some of the things you were doing and trying before working with me?
Yeah, sure. So actually my weight problem, or I don't even know if it would be a problem, but after I had my boys, so I never really had a problem younger. It was really more when I had gotten older and actually had my second child, and it was more of having a harder time losing the weight. It could have been even also too with changing jobs, the different what I was doing was more active, and now I'm not more active, and it's a different type of job. But I did try Weight Watchers, and that was the focus more. But the focus was more not on the mindset when I started it, or when I started Weight Watchers. I know it was different. It has evolved since then. I don't know. I don't know about that. But that's really what I try to do. But it was never really focused on really the whole person, I think. I think that it was really more, everything was always changing with that plan. So you never had a constant relationship with anyone, or with just, this is what you do. Yes, you lost the weight on this time, and then all of a sudden it changes maybe a year later, because I believe it was really more focusing on new clients, trying to get them in, as opposed to keeping the old clients that have been there for them and doing that. So I kind of feel that's where it was. That was my main one, my main weight loss program that I tried. So I've never had to try it since then. So that was just where I was at that point. So it was kind of frustrating, because it was really just more of the points and figuring it out, but you had the support, but it wasn't an individual, it was just different people maybe, or, different, maybe emailing or anything like that. So you kind of were on your own, except for like meetings maybe, but that was more of a generalization of people going at one time. So that's where I was at one point, where
Did you lose weight with Weight Watchers?
I did, but it was also, you lost it, but then if you didn't continuously go with that program, you would gain it, back. So it was a constant, like, okay, you can be a lifetime member, but you had to stay within a certain amount of pounds, and then you didn't have to pay. But then I don't know how it is now, but that's when that's where I was at that point. But it was always a like, okay, now what? Now you're at this, and you have this many points, or you have this, whatever you have the scale of, or whatever. And then it was more focused on really your weight. Like, I haven't weighed myself. So it's a less of a stress. This was, I feel like you had to keep that was the number. Well, is the number actually like count? It does. Now learning from you, it does not count. You can stand on the scale all you want, and you can lose 20 pounds. Is it a good weight loss? Is your body filled with the nutrients that you need? Or is it just because, I had that one thing that was this much, so I was able to stay within that range?
Yeah.
So that was way back when, but it was more like the scale, this is what you're going to lose. And it really was a focus, so, which I think was that's looking back at that now, I think that was kind of a, really not really what you should be focusing on.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about that. So you did Weight Watchers and okay. Anything else that you tried in the past?
Let's see. I don't, on your own, you try to research, but nothing, that was really my main one. My main one that I tried. I did try, I think Noom was one of the other ones, but it was, you did have like, it was, it's not personalized, put it that way. It's not personal. Like with you, it was like you're it, and with that one is, as the Weight Watchers, with the Noom, you're there, but you have reminders, and I guess you can contact someone, but it's not specific. It could probably be anyone, anywhere, so it's big companies, it's it's not personal, I felt.
Yeah, Noom is just bots, computer, responses typically.
Yeah, and that's what you feel like, so.
Yeah, like you're just one of many. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
that's what it is.
What led you to start working with me? Do you remember?
Well, I was on Instagram, and the feeds come up, and I think it kind of comes to whatever whatever like you're interested in. So you had popped up on my feed, and I started listening, or I was I think it was really just like recipes and just the way you talked, like practical, simple, practical. I'm like, what? No, really? So I was, then I started listening to, your podcast, and things started making sense. So I was like, well, I had nothing to lose. I went through the first, the free consult, the video where you sent, and you talked about all the beginning. And, then I called you, and we had a free consult, and we just kind of talked about everything. It was really more you individualizing me of like, okay, what's going on? What are your struggles? What's happening with you, your personal life? What else is going on? It was specific. It was individualized. I felt like when I talked to you the first time, we were like, just kind of like this, chit chatting, and just kind of getting like, I knew you wanted to help me, and you cared, and that was really what kind of was the, turning point, really, so that was like thank goodness that, I must have liked something which your feet came up, you know what I mean? And then got into into the podcast. So it really does make a difference, by the person that you really want to, and you went through it. So it was really like you had that, it's a commonality and you are it. It's not some rep coming in and, a different person each day.
Yeah.
It's you. You're the one who's reviewing. You're the one that's actually helping. And then that's really what really helped me.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. Well, I'm glad. I mean, I know I'm not for everybody, and not every person is, ideal for every person. So I get that. But
Yeah.
I really am glad that you found me because I think things really, really helped you in your journey. So, I guess let's talk about a little bit like what were some of those things that you were struggling with when we start working together?
The food, I think also too, I just was frustrated with myself, frustration. My struggles were not forgiving myself. It was like all or nothing. I would start and I would stop and then I would be mad at myself. I wanted to be done and lose my weight fast, and it wasn't happening. So then I would just give up and say whatever. So a lot of it really was just the mindset, really, which that was the hardest part, because you can do all you want to do, like we talked, Weight Watchers, Noom, whatever. But if you're not figuring out the why and why things aren't happening the way they should be happening, then you're going to be at square one every time something goes wrong, and frustrated and just angry with yourself. So that was the hard part. So
Yeah, we really had to work on a lot of those things for you to help you be more consistent with food and help you figure out the food too. So, yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
nothing ever changes long term, and I think this is something what you're trying to say for everybody on the line is that like nothing's going to really change. You're just going to keep going round and round if you kind of have some of these mindset things going on, right? You think you
yeah,
screwed something up, you're going to probably just stop, and then you're starting all over, and you're just constantly in that pattern. So,
yep, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, how did we fix those things for you? That's the question.
Yeah, a lot of time, I think we focused a lot, really, more on my mindset.
Yeah.
That was the biggest thing, is the mindset. It's the I know, when we work together, your mind is the one that really, like we talked about carrying the toddler. You got to kind of, um, you kind of got to forgive yourself, or and that was the hardest. That was hardest for me. And it was, if something did go wrong, like, now what do I need to do? Like, what are some of the tools that I need to fix this? Or it's more of a reevaluation of like what happened, or let's figure this out.
Mhm.
Be more conscious of your life, of what you're doing, not just go through with it, just be conscious of what happened today, what changed, what is this that made me do this, or not fix my dinner, or not go out for my walk, or not, so a lot of evaluation of everything I thought that I had to do
Was
to.
it hard to do some of that self-evaluation?
Oh yeah, oh gosh, yeah. Yeah, because I think, we're all, as women, think that for personally speaking, for me, I always like would put myself down. But why?
Yeah,
You know, we shouldn't be doing it to ourselves.
yeah.
You know, we should be building ourselves up. And that was the hardest. That was hard for me to, like, kind of talk about myself and, you know, boost myself up. That was hard
Mhm.
too.
Yeah. And not see things as mistakes. I think that's so hard for people.
Right. Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. It's not, it can't be a mistake. It's not, it isn't. It's just something that needs to be reevaluated, saying, okay, I did this, let's figure it out, let's move on. And now we know,
Mhm.
so.
Yep. You can learn from it and grow. That's all you can do.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Right. So I know for you, we had some specific challenges too while we were working together, right? You had,
Yes, yes. Yeah, so a couple of things was I had broke my foot, so I
oh,
was out of commission for a little while that way. And then I did end up getting a herniated disc in my neck. So um with that being said, I couldn't walk, exercise. So you kind of got, I was in a funk. It was kind of more like, now I'm trying to do all these things and I'm trying to get better and trying to get healthier, and then this happens. But
mm,
with us, when we had to discuss, it was like, you're going to have these bumps in the road. There's going to be no perfect day. It's not going to be a perfect, like, okay, this is what's going on. I needed to figure out what I can control, which we talked about that, which you helped me control the food. That's what I could control. I can't control my broken foot, and I can't control my neck. So
right.
to keep in control, I needed to focus on my meal prepping, what I needed to do, and just to keep that on track. So that was, but if I didn't learn the tools before, like with this along the way, because it was later on in our journey that we had, with my mindset was getting there. My mindset was there, but
Right.
you know, even if it was the beginning of our journey, I think that, that I would have learned too, because it was just more like the mindset is really like, okay, let's see what we can do and what we can control,
Right.
so that was
Yeah.
that was hard.
Yeah, so it's not like it was the perfect time frame in your life and you didn't have anything going on and you had no challenges and you were just able to work on you the whole time we were working together. Yeah, we had some
Right.
challenges with this. And like you said, you got into a little bit of a funk for a little bit. And that's where we had to
Yeah.
really talk about, like, we focus on what we can control. There's going to be things in life you just can't control. That's
Right.
how it is. Welcome
Right.
to life.
Yeah. And that's where we have to figure out, like, okay, time to move on. Let's see what we can do. And that was, yeah, that was a challenge, because that was ended up being like probably a couple months I was out of commission with that. So,
Yeah. But
so
it
that
didn't
was the
stop
big challenge.
us. We kept going.
Nope. Kept going. Yep. That's true. Kept
Right.
going.
Yeah.
So,
So what about with the food? How do you think some of the mindset work we worked on, how did that help you in terms of the food part of it?
well, it actually, it helps because, um, it wasn't, I didn't feel stressed. Like, it was like, oh my gosh, you know what I mean? Like, I think when we always we would talk about going out to dinner. I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to go out to dinner. Or, it's more with the choices that we make, and it's okay to have these. You can eat whatever you want. It's the choices that you want to eat with that. Whether we talked about, like, okay, we're going to go out to eat, have that burger, but let's have a salad with it, or let's have another protein, or it's all about the healthy choices too. And it helped me because it's in the back of your mind, thinking that it's not like, I don't care today. That's it. No, I'm going to give up. It's not that. It's really like, okay, this is my day. I'm going to have, this is what I'm having. And okay, we'll start. And it's not like, oh, I'm going to quote unquote cheat. This is our life for till I'm, like we talked about, 86 years old. Like, I do not want to live a life regimented to my eating, like eating, and you want to enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
So that mindset is always there. Anytime I go out to dinner, or even holidays, or it's a mindset that it's positive. It's okay. You kind of, once you get into it, it's like an automatic thing where you're like, okay, I'm gonna have this instead of this.
Hmm.
If I want a little bit of that, I'm gonna have a little bit of it, but that's it. That's all.
Hmm.
So it's that has helped me a lot with that, because before that I would be like, oh, well, it's today. I'm just gonna eat whatever and not care. I mean, and now it's more like I can have it. It's okay. Don't have to overeat it, but I can have it.
Wow.
So
Wow, what a big difference. A lot of people struggle with that. I know you struggled with that too, because I think there was
oh
like
yeah,
a birthday or a cake, as I recall,
yeah,
during one of our coaching sessions, there was something about a cake that we had to talk about. And I was like, you can
yeah,
have that.
yeah. I'm like, oh yeah, I can.
Yeah. A lot of people struggle
Yeah,
with that though. They're like, I can't have that. I think people, I don't know what you think, but I think a lot of women think that they can't eat less nutritious foods and lose weight.
I agree. I really do, because that's really, I think we need um that little treat that we like to keep us balanced,
Hmm.
and knowing that you can have it. And when you know you can have it, I think, well, to me personally, I knew I could have it. So I didn't have to overeat it. Like,
Yeah.
I can have that piece and not have to worry, like I'm going to start all over again tomorrow. I'm eating all the cake. I'm eating this whole cake because
Yeah.
I'm starting again tomorrow. So everything's a reset, but,
Yeah.
you know, so that's, and I think that's helped me too, because it's okay. And you can have that little piece, and,
Hmm.
you don't, it's the portion too, and you can have it,
Right.
so that was a lot for me to, with a, like, with quote unquote diet. It's not a diet. This is a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle, and a healthy lifestyle. And I don't want to look at it as a diet. And that's why this has helped me, because it's, it's eating better, helping yourself be healthy, that type of thing too. So,
Hmm. And still having fun stuff included, not just restricting it and saying I'm only going to eat
right.
healthy and the healthy foods are the only foods I can ever eat. If you think about it, like with the cake example, it's kind of silly that a lot of us have this thought that if I eat a piece of cake, I have somehow ruined everything that I've been working on, which is not true. How is one slice of cake going to ruin everything? But that's how we think.
Yeah. Yes. And that's a good point that you brought up, because when we used to talk, when we had our sessions, you're like, okay, you had that piece of cake. Okay, how many days have you been eating? You're within your calories. I'm like, well, like 14 days. So out of the one day, of the 14 days, you had this. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense now. So
Perspective,
I never looked at it that way.
right? We have to look
It,
at things differently, and that's the thing. Like you said, a lot of times we don't look at it that way. Like we have perspective is everything when we're trying to lose weight.
yeah,
Too funny.
it kind of sounds silly now, but yeah, it's true. One day, really, so.
Doesn't mess it all up. Did I tell you exactly what you needed to eat? Did I give you a list of like, here's all the foods you need to eat, and here's all the bad foods you must avoid? Did
Mm-mm.
I do that?
No, no, no. It was great. It was, these are, you just gave, like, you gave me, I have choices, and these are the choices. They're lean choices. These are what gave me, like, a
Hmm.
guide that what I can follow, which helps. You know what I mean? And but no, and we would talk, and I'd like, all right, I had, this is what I did today, and you would review my journal, or this is what was going on, and you'd be like, well, that's okay. Look at all the stuff that you actually, you did. I'm like, oh yeah, that's true. And or you would guide me. Your protein was a little low this week. Here's some extra things that you could try to throw in there. Or your fiber was a little bit low, or so that was nice, because that kind of taught me what to look for, and, like, reevaluate that week,
Yeah.
and also that day. I my habit, which was hard. I would plug things in when we first started. I would just plug them in, and then when we were having our consultation, you're like, okay, so how did you, like, what did you feel like, what is your how was your protein this week? And I'm like, oh geez, let me calculate that, like,
Mm-hmm.
so it's a learning process. Like, oh, I could have done that each day. Now I'm looking at it. Okay, I didn't have much protein, and I was a little bit more hungry at dinner today because maybe lunch I didn't have enough. So it was a really interesting how you had to I had to listen to my body, and the hunger, and that's where, am I hungry for food or am I thirsty? Did I have enough protein? What was my sleep? It was all different things you have to kind of look at. It's not just, one thing, which is interesting.
I think something you said that is really important for the listeners is that it's a learning experience. It's not like you come in day one of this, this journey, and it's like you're doing everything perfectly from day one, and we're like, hey, let's go lose weight. Let's lose weight. We're going to do the weight loss thing right away. It's like, no, we have to learn, and we have to kind of learn what to look for and how to look for things. And part of me being your coach is to kind of hold your hand and help you look at those things so you learn. Because I'm not Weight Watchers. I don't have like, the revolving door where everybody just wants, comes back over and over again. I want you to learn, right? And I think a lot of times when people join a program like this, they look at it just like, it's just like Weight Watchers. Like day one, I'm on the diet and I'm going to start restricting and cutting out my favorite foods and let's go. But it's not like that, right? You're learning.
No, and that wasn't our first, that was even our first, goal. That wasn't even, our primary, when we first started, when you figured out what I needed, was, all right, let's start with breakfast.
Yeah.
We're going basics, that's what I needed, and you were like, I don't care about the lunch or dinner right now. We're worrying about breakfast. And that was nice too, because you're not overwhelmed. So that wasn't even, we didn't even talk, we weren't into calories, nothing. We wanted to focus on what we need to, like, what I needed to eat, like what are my things I needed to learn and to start focusing on, which that's really helped a lot.
Good. I'm glad it's helped you a lot. I know it's helped you a lot because you're a totally different person.
Yeah, I am. I really am. Yeah.
That's good. So what do you think are, some of the things in this journey that really were most important and helped you the most?
Actually, the things that the journey that really this helped me the most is the mindset was really the main thing. And really a couple of things I did point out. I was thinking to forgive, not to punish. It's not a journey, or it's not a race, it's a journey. Right mindset before anything else. Control the things that you're able to, and not to get frustrated when you can't. That was a big one for me. Just like we talked about when I got hurt, it was really more of the, control, and I want to do the things now, what I'm doing now, until like we talked about, 86, 80s, practical, I'm not, like practical things that are doable, that aren't gonna make me, give up. Like you said, like Weight Watchers, where I'm always turning around, or, you always turn around to go back, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's, like you say, it's a consistency, and you want to enjoy life, but you want to do the things that are practical till you are.
Yeah. So everything we worked on for you, there's stuff you can do until you're in your 80s, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
Good.
Absolutely.
Good. Do you think when we worked together, anything that we worked on, do you think kind of changed your mindset about how to approach weight loss versus maybe what you thought before working together?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's okay. It's going to take time. I'm still on the journey. It's not going away. I will have challenges. I Before this, I would have been, I there's nothing that I can do. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm giving up. I'm just going to be where I am. Um like, just unhealthy, just in a funk, frustrated every day. I'm still on the journey. I'm still, the mindset still needs to be there. I mean, you still have to be in the right mindset. Um, it's okay to reset the mindset. I had a little bit of have, like, when I went backwards, we're like, I think I need to go back to basics. And we did. We restarted. We just kind of went back to be like, okay, I need to get focused, refocus again. And I wouldn't have, like, okay, now I'm gonna, well, Weight Watchers didn't do it, so now I'm gonna try Noom. So it's, you know what I mean? Like, I'm
Yeah.
not going to somewhere else. I'm
Yeah.
going to our basic principles that you taught me to be okay. Let's go back. Let's see. Like I always used to tell you, what would Megan do? So, um, but that was, it's. I'm not gonna go. Oh well, you get to a point and you're like, no, let's do this again. Let's go back to the basic principles. Let's get that mindset again. Reset, and it's a journey. It's always going to be there, and you should be. I'm happy that I'm still continuing to go on this journey, because I need to keep telling myself, you're doing awesome. You're great. You want to talk to yourself like, you taught me this. What would you say to your best friend?
Hmm.
You know, if someone told you, I am having a hard time, this is ridiculous, I can't do anything, what would you tell them? You
Yeah.
know, you wouldn't tell your best friend, oh, you're right, give up. This is ridiculous too. You wouldn't.
Yeah.
Why don't we talk to ourselves like we have to our best friends?
Yeah.
And when you said that to me, I was like, oh wow, yeah, that really does hurt when it really, like, yeah, if you said that to your best friend, that wouldn't,
Yeah. Could you
so it really
imagine,
did.
right? Your best friend ate a pizza or ate a cake, and you're like,
Yeah,
oh, yeah, you should just give up. You're never going to figure
yeah,
out weight loss. Screw this.
yeah, 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 exactly.
Come on. No one would say
And
that to
now
their
it's like,
friend.
yeah, it's like, it's okay now. It's okay. You know what? Restart. It's okay. You can have that. But
Yeah.
that's another thing. It's like, you need to be your best friend.
Yeah. Be gentle with yourself and realize that you're on
Yeah.
this journey for life. Like life is going to happen. Stuff is going to happen. Life is hard. Like things happen.
Hmm.
And you're not going to be perfect day in and day out. It's what are you doing most of the time? Are you kind of working on these habits and having a good mindset and just always working these basic things to take care of your health? I mean, if you are, then you're winning the game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'm winning from the beginning. When we started, it was a challenge, but now it's the journey that really kept me going,
Yeah.
and still is. And
Yeah.
I know that if I need you, anything, you're there. It's That's the nice part, is it's you. It's
Mhm.
not, like you said, a bot or, a representative for that program. It's you personally
Yeah.
here, and it it did make a big difference for me.
Well, I'm good. I'm so happy to hear that. And I am really proud of you. I mean, you came so far in your journey and your mindset was the biggest thing we had to really work on. But once we really got your mindset, in the right place, you were really able to take things and just kind of run with them. And even when, your foot injury happened, yeah, you got in a funk for a while, but you were able to get out of it
Hmm.
pretty quickly once we started talking and working through that. I mean, you were able to just focus on what you were able to control, and you did really well. So, I mean, a lot of people struggle when those kind of life things happen. They're like, ah, my gosh, this thing happened and I can't do nothing. And they kind of freak out, but you
Hmm.
didn't. We were able to work
Yeah.
through it.
Yeah. Yeah. It made a difference, with, you helping me work that through though, too, and I'm so grateful.
Aw, aw.
Thank you.
You're so welcome, dear. You are. I'm so happy for you because, I talk to so many people just like you. And that's part of the reason why I wanted you on this podcast. I talk to so many women who are frustrated and just feel like they're trying and doing all these different things and researching all these things. And they're just not getting to where they want to be and they're not comfortable. And they have this mindset of like they're always messing up and not feeling like they're good enough. And so, that's why I asked you to be on here, was to share your journey with them so you can give them some hope and see that this is possible for them. So, thank you for doing that. And thank you for, being so vulnerable and just sharing everything, that you've struggled with and had to work through, because I think that helps a lot of other people hearing that. So, I think, with that in mind, like, what would you say, like, for the women that are listening to this, who are probably a lot like you were when we started working together in 2023, what would your advice be for them? What do you think they should have go do?
It would be really, give yourself compassion, forgiveness. Every morning could be a reset. Forgive yourself. Treat yourself as your best friend.
Yeah.
If they needed, if they needed advice, what would you say to them? And you have to support yourself, be an advocate for yourself. And in order to do that, the mindset has to change, and it has to be a positive, forgiving mindset.
Yeah.
And you're not the only one out there. And call Megan. She can help you.
Aw. Well, of course I can help everybody. I'm pretty sure of that too. But yes, thank you. But I think
I'm sorry. I have to say that.
Oh, don't be sorry. That's okay. But I do think what you said about like just having grace and compassion. Oh my gosh, if I could like bundle this up and give it to every person or every woman I ever encountered, I wish I could, because it's the biggest thing I see people struggling with, honestly.
Yeah, it's true. I think it's hard with women in general, with everything. So you could do it. It's possible. It is possible.
It's a lot easier when you treat yourself like your own best friend. It really is.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, Tonya, thank you so much for being here. I love your words of wisdom for everybody. I'm sure this is really helpful to all the ladies listening to this who are just like you, at some point when we started working together. So thank you for your perspective on everything. I wish you all the best. I'm always here for you. You know where to reach me if you need me, but I know you're going to do fantastic. You've got all these great habits, this good mindset, and I'm just really happy for you that you have found your own way.
Thank you. I appreciate you thinking about me in this, and I thank you for everything you did for me.
You're so welcome, dear. Well, take care. Have a good night.
Okay. Thanks, Megan. You too. Bye-bye.
Hey, if you enjoyed this podcast, you have to come check out my free weight loss class. It's the 5 steps to lasting weight loss, how hormones impact weight loss, and the truth about lasting weight loss without relying on willpower, workouts, or deprivation. Click the link in the show notes to watch that free class today. And if you are a woman over 35 with 20 to 50 or more pounds to lose, schedule a free weight loss breakthrough session with me after you watch that class, and let's talk about your 20 to 50 or more pound weight loss plan.